Boston and Carolina go to Game 3 with a tied series 1-1. And round 1, Game 3, bringing a ton of changes for the Boston Bruins, as David Pastrnak is slated to miss his second game for reasons that are still unclear to me, at least. But that is not just the main reason why, because Bruce Cassidy has decided to go with Par Lindholm, Jet Studnicka, the stud, and Connor Clifton, Cliffy Hockey. All three of those players are in, which means Big Nick Ritchie is out, Carson Kuhlman, the coolest man on ice, is out, and Jeremy Lauzon is also out for tonight's game. Or this afternoon's game, I should say. But I think it is now officially time that we cannot avoid the elephant in the room. From the Boston Bruins, a statement from goaltender Tuukka Rask. I want to be with my teammates competing, but at this moment, there are things more important than hockey in my life, and that is being with my family. I want to thank the Bruins and my teammates for their support and wish them success. From General Manager Don Sweeney. In Tuukka's case, he has a newborn at home along with 2 young girls. He just felt he needed to be home with them at this particular time. I give Tuukka a hell of a lot of credit for trying to persevere through. The priorities are in the right order, and this is what he has to do. Now, originally, I was going to use this segment to make something of the comments that were stated yesterday by goaltender Tuukka Rask. From Joe Haggerty. Tuukka Rask calls Toronto bubble games dull and compares them to exhibition games without crowds. He says he's not expecting too much when it comes to results, coming after a loss where you have a .899 save percentage and at times aren't fighting hard to see the puck. Start Halak. And also from Tuukka Rask himself, where he says the exact same thing right here, where he says it's definitely not a playoff atmosphere and that he's just trying to go out there and have fun and see what happens. So here we have a bit of a conundrum, because on the one hand, the comments made by Tuukka Rask about just trying to have fun and results don't matter and it being, not feeling like a playoff series are problematic. But we don't know the whole story. Like I said, Tuukka Rask's wife is either pregnant, just had a newborn, or is in labor very, very soon. So a lot of this we don't know the status of. And with everything going on, it is a weird time in the world. So I think it's for the best to give Tuukka Rask a little bit of some slack. I respect his decision to go home and be with his wife and his 2 daughters and his newborn, or soon-to-be newborn at this time. I'm sure for him it was a tough decision. And I do give him props for trying, although it does seem, given his comments, that his head and his heart, honestly, weren't really in Toronto, in the bubble, in the NHL return to play. Which is fine, considering that he has a newborn on the way, and that under normal circumstances, it's August. This would be the off-season. Tuukka Rask would normally be home with his 2 kids and his newborn right now. Under normal circumstances, this is a non-issue and everybody would be congratulating Tuukka Rask on having a child. But this is not normal circumstances. The playoffs are in August this year. It's 2020. We have a pandemic. It's a weird time. So, I know there's a 50-50-ish split. There's a lot of really loud fans from this fan base that are giving Tuukka Rask a lot of grief. I'm not one of those. I'm disappointed that he decided to do so prior to Game 3 in the middle of a series, but I still respect his decision and wish his family the best and hope that his newborn is going to be wonderful and healthy and nothing goes wrong with that. But either way, Jaroslav Halak is in, and he's projected to be the starter until the wheels fall off for the Boston Bruins. And we still have a hockey game to play. So let's talk about it on the Bruins Recap Show. So we start things off in the first period, and like I said, Jaroslav Halak in the net for the Bruins. He takes on Peter Mrazek, the goaltender who lost in Game 1. Very shocking that Rod Brind'Amour went back to Mrazek after James Reimer played a very good game in Game 2, although it might be 50-50 between the two of them, who knows. But 12 seconds into the game, Brad Marchand takes a tripping penalty, and with a fresh sheet of ice, the Carolina power play looks really, really good, but Jaroslav Halak looks really good to the task as well. 4 shots on net in that power play and a post. But the Bruins get through it. They start to build up a little bit, but there's another close call later on in the first period, as it's a Carolina shot that Halak just can't seem to get cleanly with the glove. It's trickling, and he battles back, and he throws his glove on it, and it's called no goal. They review it, and it remains no goal. But this first period, very much more so to Carolina's liking. They outshot the Bruins 15-7 in shots. But before they go to the room, Carolina will get a penalty for a high sticking, and it's actually a 4-minute major, or 4-minute double minor, my apologies. So the power play to end the first period does nothing, but they get a power play, 2 minutes worth, going into the first period. 14 seconds into the second period, Boston again, like I said earlier, on the power play. It's a cross-corner dump from David Krejci. Brad Marchand will win the race. He lifts the stick of the defender. He gets the shot, and it's a pop-up juicy rebound, and Charlie Coyle, the kid from Weymouth, Massachusetts, who grew up watching David Ortiz, gets the bat ready and hits himself a home run on the power play. 1-0 Boston. A little bit later on, it's a close call again for Carolina. Sebastian Aho hitting the crossbar. No goal on a Boston turnover. But Boston turns up the tempo and really looks good in the second period. They outshoot the Carolina Hurricanes in the second, 20 shots to 8. Carolina starts the third period on a power play, but 1 minute and 16 seconds in, Charlie McAvoy will get the puck up to the blue line. It's grabbed by Charlie Coyle. He skates into the Carolina zone, and he has Sami Vatanen in front of him, but he outweights him and waits him and puts it through the legs, and it's tipped in by Sean Kuraly. Big goal, Sean, on the shorthander, but we do not get the Kuraly, which is a shame. 2-0 Bruins. And a little bit later on in the third period, it's the third penalty call on Anders Bjork. It's a tripping into the offensive zone. By the way, you do not see Anders Bjork for pretty much the rest of this game after he gets off the penalty bench. But Geekie will dump the puck in on the power play. Jaroslav Halak gets it behind his net, and I don't know what he was doing because he did have Charlie McAvoy close, and it would have been a better play to go to McAvoy, but he attempts to clear it himself, and it ends up right in the glove of Nino Niederreiter, and that's, in the words of Steve Dangle, a dang it. And that'll be on Sportsnet for Steve's dang it's right there. Nino Niederreiter gets the gift power play goal, and Carolina gets a little bit of life left. 2-1 hockey game. Later on in the third period, and this is just a scary moment overall, Andrei Svechnikov gets into a bit of a fight, or not a fight, but a tie-up with Zdeno Chara in front of the Bruins net, and he falls awkwardly on his leg, and oh god, you hate to see it. I'm being dead serious. I hope he's okay. That it looked very, very bad, because that is such a good young talent for Carolina. I hope he's available for Monday night. Also, on that same play, no less, a referee gets hit in the face with a puck. So just a weird, bad overall moment in the game. Again, hope Svechnikov is okay. We go later on in the third period, about 30 seconds left to go. Krejci steals a pass from Sebastian Aho. He does the high lob, and it's off to the races for Brad Marchand. He wins the race. He gets the empty net goal. Good night, Irene. 3-1. Boston wins, and they rally around Jaroslav Halak, who had to come in without playing in 14 days on very, very short notice, I'm guessing. And they played their best game that they've played in the Toronto bubble. So let's take it quick to the 3 stars of the game. And star number 3, like I said, Jaroslav Halak on short notice comes in and should have had a shutout, but he made one mistake. 29 saves on 30 shots, and the 30th shot, or the one he didn't save, he gets an assist on, let's be honest. And speaking of assists, star number 2, David Krejci, one of the best players for Boston in this series so far. 2 assists on the night. I know I'm hypercritical of David Krejci, but so far he's having himself a great series. And the number 1 star, and probably the best overall player for Boston in the return, Charlie Coyle, having himself another spectacular night. Gets the assist on the Sean Kuraly goal. Gets the goal on the power play himself. A 2-point night for Coyle. And we go for Monday night for Game 4. So big questions for Game 4 include David Pastrnak's potential return to the lineup. Is that going to happen? What is the status with David Pastrnak? And also Anders Bjork. Let's be honest, he had a rough game today. I don't think he's going to be in the lineup for Game 4. I'd much rather see Jake Studnicka, the stud, play in Game 4, potentially get some top-line minutes if Pastrnak is not able to go. But that is all for Game 4. We'll see what happens, what changes, and if Jaroslav Halak can remain as hot as he looks, as the way he goes, the Bruins will go as well. So we'll see you on the next Bruins Recap Show.